Hello fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? So I'm super excited for this video because we're going to be talking about all the new indie makeup releases from the past 2 weeks and my personal opinion on them, whether I want to purchase them or not. We've got some interesting things to talk about, so many different Valentine's themed or like pinky purpley just makeup in general to talk about, which is fun, which I mean I guess I might have taken a little bit of inspiration from. I did go ahead and film a first impression with the Glam Like Cake palette, so that'll probably be up sometime this week, maybe Tuesday if I can fit a little extra video in. I'll try and leave the other makeup details down below if I can remember, but this video series is inspired by Aniela Kanikis and Samantha March. I have both their channels linked down below, as well as the Community Will I Buy It playlist and all the Instagram accounts that I use to make this video happen every single week. So let's just go ahead and jump, or actually not every single week. I need to change my spiel. Every other week. Okay. Let's jump on in. Alright, so the first thing that we have to talk about this week is a tiny little baby sneak peek, and this is actually from Viseart Beauty. They just posted this little picture of their next upcoming eyeshadow palette. I think it looks super pretty. There's like a light pink, a really iridescent purpley blue shade, and then there's like a deeper purple. I recently tried their Nox palette and I wasn't the biggest fan of the shimmers. I really liked the mattes, so I'm curious to see what the rest of this palette will look like, and I'm also curious to see what the shape is going to be because it looks kind of interesting, so they definitely have my attention. And then next is the reveal of the Midas Cosmetics times Smokey Glow collaboration. So I'm not sure if everything is sold out at this point, but I will go ahead and link it down below for y'all in case you just want to creep on the website or see more. This was already available for pre-order, and I did try to purchase this during the subscriber pre-order because I was signed up to the mailing list. I was all about it, but I was on at the time that I thought it was going to be. I think there was a little bit of mix-up between which time zone it was, and then whenever I got back on, when it was actually the right time, like everything was sold out, and I was just confused. It seemed like it was just, there was a lot of people who wanted it and only so many to be bought, and I messaged the brand just because I am affiliated with them, and I feel like it's not weird for me to message them and say, hey, what was happening with this launch kind of thing, just because I did genuinely want to purchase this. And they said that they would send it to me in PR, which I'm super appreciative of because I would have tried to purchase it the following day. I think that's when they did the pre-order for everyone. But either way, long story short, I would have bought this because I do think it's really pretty. I think the palette looks super nice. I love the different pinks and the neutrals and a little bit of purple, and I really liked Hannah's video just talking about everything. It was very endearing, and I thought all the names were super cute. There is a little highlighter duo, which I'm not sure how well those are going to work for fair skin, but I think like just looking at this shade Slay, like I think that would be a really beautiful blush topper. Probably don't need any more lip gloss, but I figured, hey, I may as well just go ahead and review the entire collection. So I was going to buy the whole PR box and everything, and I think the swatches look really nice. So I'm super excited to get to play with this. Again, congratulations to Hannah. I think it looks all very well thought out. Alright, so next we have a reveal from Salt New York, and this is their mini palette. So they actually started the brand off with like a pre-order of like this same exact palette, but just a bigger size. And then they came out with these like Creme Tint Pro pans, and I've always been intrigued by the brand. Like it was, I was just curious about it, but whenever I looked on their website, it just felt like in order to get the bundle and to save it, like I'd have to buy 6 of the pans, and it just felt like I didn't need 6 different like cream pans. And whenever I saw this, I was super excited because of the pricing, honestly, between getting the palette for pre-order and then getting to choose just 4 shades. I feel like that is perfect. I was super excited about it, and I thought now is the time to try it. So I did go ahead and purchase this. Salt New York, actually, the person behind it, I believe her name is Kiki, I want to say, or is that right? I found her on YouTube yesterday, and I really enjoy her sense of humor. I think she's super funny, so it's cool to put a face behind the brand. But she's a working makeup artist, and I don't know, it seemed like everything was really thought out. So I went ahead and purchased this, and I got the lightest highlight, the 2 lightest blushes, and then the lightest contour, which I'm super excited about because I've just been slowly getting into more and more cream products. I do have some powder bronzer on today, but I've been using a foundation that's too dark for me to cream contour, and I've really been liking that. I just want glowy skin, and I want it to not be cakey at all. Like, that's my goal, is to just have my skin look like, I don't mind that there's makeup on it, but I just don't want it to look like a layer sitting on top. So I've been trying to try different techniques and going to products I haven't used in a while and just, I don't know, doing a whole thing. So this seems really, really nice to me, and I love trying new indie brands, so I'm excited about it. And then next we have a reveal from Terra Moon Cosmetics, and so excited about this. They are coming out with new Cosmic Chameleon shadows. So if you're not already familiar, they have their iridescent chameleons, which I love so, so much. I've talked about them way too much, but also not enough because they're so beautiful. And so I'm excited to see that they're going to be taking that concept and doing another line. It seems like these are going to be like super iridescent duochromy, multi-chromy type shades. They look really stunning. So far, I like them. I don't know if I'm like as like super obsessed with them as I am the iridescent shades, just because those are so my vibe. But these look beautiful as well, and I could see maybe picking up a few. Not sure if I'll get the whole collection. I'm curious to see what everything will look like, but I do like the idea of it, and they have my attention. Alright, so next from Nomad Cosmetics, they have started sneak peeking their next palette, and I'm so excited about it because so far it looks intriguing. So they showed one shade of their palette, and it was a really light kind of pastel pink, and it definitely kind of made me raise my brows, kind of like, like what are they thinking of, like what's gonna happen? And I just looked right before I went to film this video, and they revealed another shade, and this looks to be a really beautiful pastel mint shade. So I'm curious. At first I was thinking, oh, are they going to be doing like a pink themed palette like everyone else seems to be doing right now? But now there's a pastel green, and so I'm curious to see what the whole thing ends up being. Don't really know if I need another pastel palette in my life, but they have my attention. So next is a slight sneak peek from Melt Cosmetics. I'm going to show you this picture, which has like this pink overlay on it. And it's kind of just like, it's not what the products are actually going to be because it's just all pink and they haven't revealed everything. But I did see someone post it on their Instagram story, but the brand hasn't revealed it yet. So I'm going to wait until they do in order to talk about it. But this is the new Modern Love collection from Melt Cosmetics. And even though I'm not going to show the picture of what it looks like, I can say that I'm relieved because I don't love it. The palette and some different particular items that I saw just didn't really seem up my alley. And like I said, it's a relief because Melt Cosmetics has been killing it, and I can see why people will like the color scheme that it is, but for me it's just not doing anything for me. So I'm glad it's probably gonna be a pass. I'm not sure what everything else is gonna be here. Maybe they'll do a stack, maybe they'll have a blush, and maybe I'll want to grab one or two things. But overall, I'm not super drawn to the collection. And then, let's see, I kind of have things out of order between indie brands. So we'll go here, okay. This is the Lorac Cosmetics Chocolate Box palette. And this does look pretty. It's kind of a mixture of neutral tones, and then there's some soft pops of pink, peach, red, burgundy. So I think if you are someone who likes that kind of color scheme, but you do mostly stick to neutrals, this could be a fun palette. I think the two highlighters are gigantic, but they look fine. I mean, actually, I don't know. I'm kind of against it just because I feel like that one giant white highlighter, even though that would probably be beautiful for me, I feel like for a lot of skin tones that would be a little bit too pale, a little bit ashy. So it stinks that there's like literally like such a big part of the palette being taken up by something that not everyone can use. So it's a pass. I feel like they've done a few kind of pretty aesthetically pleasing palettes, but I've never tried anything from them, and there's nothing that has like completely grabbed my attention. And then we also have two different palette reveals from Hank and Henry, which I have tried. I want to say a liquid liner from Hank and Henry and maybe something else. I've gotten two things in BoxyCharm, I want to say. Maybe a mascara. I don't even remember. I don't have any recollection of what I felt about them. I know I have the liner with a bunch of other makeup because I used it when I did my best friend's wedding makeup. Helped conceal the lashes a little bit. So anyways, I don't have a really strong opinion on the brand, but this first palette here is the Sweet Tooth palette, and it's definitely cute. I mean, it has names that are like baby talk, so I don't know how much that's my cup of tea. Like they have cup of cake? I don't know. It's okay, but the actual color scheme I do think is pretty. There's pastels, and it's kind of like almost a little bit of a muted rainbow, but it's not enough to make me go, ooh, I really want to purchase that. And then there's another one here, which is called Fuego, and I like this one a little bit more. It's like a really warm tone palette with a pop of green, which I think is intriguing. It's called Jalapeno. I like this one more of the two, but neither of them are really pulling on me to purchase them. All right, next we have a reveal from P. Louise, and I already knew I wouldn't be purchasing this no matter how beautiful it is, just because I don't like some of the things that the brand has done. They've sold mink lashes, and they've just had a few scandals that it just, I don't know, made me feel a little uneasy about them. I have other products that I bought from them in the past, and they're good quality, but I'd rather just spend my money elsewhere. This palette is pretty, but it's so many pinks and reds, and they look like, so many of the shades look so similar, it's crazy. It kind of just, I feel like this palette could have been condensed. It could have been a lot smaller, and I think that a lot of these looks you could go in with multiple shades and do different looks and have them all look the same if you did the same eye shape kind of thing, because there's so many shades that look similar. It is interesting to me that they put shimmers in the palette, just because I've watched a masterclass before where they said that they would not do shimmers because they don't like shimmers and they prefer pigments. But I guess sometimes the market calls for shimmers. They also have some highlighters, which they said they wouldn't do either, just because Ofra, I'm pretty sure they said Ofra already kind of killed it with highlighters, which I agree. So I'm curious what their formula would be like. But either way, it's a pass for me. And then there's a new palette here called, I don't know what this palette is called exactly. I'll have it linked down below. It's from Makeup and Murder, and it is a new palette that has purple and pinky and red tones. I like the size of this so much more. It's pretty. It's one of those palettes though where you look at it and you kind of question, because it's almost hard to tell which shades are mattes and shimmers. Like, are the only two mattes the two shades on the bottom? I can't tell. I feel like that's definitely not enough mattes for me. Maybe there are more mattes, but they just kind of, almost all the shades kind of look satin. I don't know if I'm crazy. We definitely have to look up some swatches. I don't know if the theme is exactly my cup of tea, like blood splatter on a palette. But I do like the color scheme overall. Maybe I'll have to look into that a little bit more just to see some swatches. I'd love to know if any of y'all have tried Makeup and Murder. I have not tried anything from them, so I don't have an opinion. And then, let's see. Okay, we have a few things to talk about from Clionadh, which I'm super excited about. And I also wanted to mention, they did have a giant like restock and sale maybe like a week and a half ago or something, and everything sold out pretty quickly. So they are doing a pre-order, which I'll leave all the details down below in case you missed it. The pre-order, I believe, is also going to have the sale pricing and all the new products. I'm sure it's going to be a long wait, fair warning, but it is an option that's going to be available. So they came out with a ton of new products and new categories and new bundles and so many beautiful things. I just wanted to touch on a few really quickly. They came out with new deep iridescent multichromes, and I love this idea so much. I think this is amazing. So they kind of touched on how like just their regular iridescent multichromes, sometimes if they're on a deeper skin tone and they get built up, they can kind of pull a little ashy, or they're just not as flattering, which I understand. It makes sense if it's just a very light base, how it wouldn't work for every single skin tone if it's built up or if it's like all over the lid. I totally understand the point that they're making, and I give them total kudos for making a collection like this. I'm not buying it because it's not for me, obviously, but I really, really, really love the idea of it. So they made 5 different shades that are multichromes for deep skin tones that could be like that beautiful like inner corner highlight. There's that lighter shade, but it has a little bit of a deeper base to it, so it's not going to look ashy, and when you move around you're not going to see a white cast. So I really, really love that, and I think that they look so stunning swatched on the deeper skin tone. So I really, really like the idea of that collection. I think it's awesome. And then they also came out with some new vibrant multi-chromes, and these look so beautiful, like so sparkly and just vibrant. As the name suggests, I just really, really love the shifts in these. I think they look stunning, so I did buy this collection. I made a slightly ridiculous order for their restock. We'll talk about it at a later date. I'm not ready to talk about it yet. I love Clionadh so much. I love everything they're doing, and I love their innovation, so I'm so excited about that. All right, so I think that's pretty much all of the indie products that we had to talk about. We can jump into some mainstream. So many Valentine's releases. Okay, so first we have the new Natasha Denona Love palette. I feel like I have a hair on my lip. No, I'm crazy. Okay, we're gonna jump into the Natasha Denona Love palette, and at first when I saw this, I was like, wow, that's really pretty. I love that it's the smaller sizing. Oh, I did have a hair. Great. Okay. I love that it's the smaller sizing, but I don't know. I was kind of like, I'm definitely going to purchase this. I think it's really pretty. I love the pink tones. I love the purple tones. I love Natasha Denona. And then I saw someone compare it to the Jackie Aina palette from Anastasia, and I was just like, oh, well, I'm not buying that now, because I bought that palette and I liked the quality, like it was decent, and I ended up selling it because I never reached for it, and I felt like everything I did with it, I was so uninspired, and the color stories are so similar, it's crazy. You might not see it when you first look at this palette, but looking at them side by side, it's crazy. So I decided to pass on this, and I'm sure it's going to be amazing quality. It looks super pretty, but I just feel like at the end of the day, I'm probably going to get this, or I would get this and do like 3 looks, and I'd just be like, nah, do I really love this color scheme? Do I really want to keep reaching for it? Like, I feel like I would be uninspired super quickly. So I decided to pass on that, but I did actually go ahead and pick up the Love Glow Cheek Palette, which I have now. I already did a video trying this out for the first time. I have it on my cheeks today. It's super, super pretty. Here's what it looks like. So I was all about that. I also picked up one of the Lipophorias. They came in 3 different shades. They had nude, mauve, and I want to say duochrome coral. Hate this. Did not realize. I went back and looked at the Beautylish website, and this is a plumping lip gloss, which I really, really don't like the way plumping lip glosses feel. So I'm going to return that, actually, unfortunately. But I do really like this palette so far, and I'm going to try and have a review up sometime this coming week. And then next is from ColourPop, and this is a new collection that they did exclusively with Ulta. I want to say this is like You're Too Cute palette or something like that, and when I saw this on Ulta, I was intrigued. I stared at it for like 3 minutes, and I was like, wow, a ColourPop palette that I don't hate. But then I was like, that's not enough to buy it. I don't know, I just feel like typically their 12-pan palettes just never called to me. The only ones that I've bought in the 12-pan color scheme have been the 2 Kathleen Lights palettes, and I didn't even like the second one. So I think that this is pretty. I actually, if you like cool tones, I think that this is a really pretty neutral palette with just a slight pop. I don't hate it at all by any means. I think it's actually kind of nice, and it looks like there's no pressed glitters in there, unless my eyes deceive me, so I love that too, but it's a pass. And then there is a new palette from Kylie Cosmetics. There was a whole Stormy collection, but I just want to talk about the palette because I don't really care about anything else. The palette is pretty. I feel like if that middle shade, Stormy Weather, the bronze, was another color, I would probably cave and buy this because I do like all the other shades, but I don't know. I like that it's a mini palette. I like that it's small. I like the purpley, pinky, peachy tones. But also there's so many other palettes coming out with the same kind of color story that it's kind of unnecessary to buy all of them. And I don't really like care that much about butterflies, and I don't know. It's okay. I can live without it. And then next, you guys, I'm so happy. I literally just dropped my phone, but I am so happy because Fenty Beauty came out with 3 new gloss bombs. And the story is that I love the shade Sweet Mouth. Like whenever I was in New York in October, I think October, I saw that shade and it was in a set and it came with a little baby highlighter, and the highlighter was just not a shade that I would use. It was too dark for my skin tone. Karen Harris was there and she's like, you could use it as an eyeshadow. I'm like, I'm never going to use it as an eyeshadow. So I just sat there and looked at this beautiful baby pink gloss that like I love the formula of on my hand for like 5 minutes, and I'm like, I can't buy the set for this tiny little lip gloss just for this and not even want the other thing. And I talked myself out of it. Basically, I was successful. I was like, I'm not going to buy the set if I don't like both items, and it's just like, why would I pay the full price for a little baby? And I'm like, I'm sure it'll come out full size eventually. And that day is today. It was actually like 3 days ago. So I bought the shade Sweet Mouth. I really, really love it. It's such a pretty baby pink, and this is my favorite gloss formula. I know so many people go back and forth on whether this is overrated or not, and I feel like the reason I've come to the conclusion, the reason why I love the formula so much is because not only is it super comfortable on the lips, but it's one of the only glosses that never gives me the white ring, because my lips are just, they're annoying, they're frustrating, they're high maintenance, and so many glosses, so many lip balms, like even I have like a little sample of the Laneige lip sleeping mask, like I'll wear it for 20 minutes and then I'll have that white line of dead skin around the middle. Fenty gloss bombs have never ever done that to me, and they just feel so moisturizing, and they're so like that just super luscious glossy finish. I love them so much. I also really like the shade Glass Slipper, which is just a clear gloss, but I already own 3 other shades of the gloss bomb and I don't need to own all of them. It's not necessary, but Sweet Mouth stole my heart. I've been waiting for it. I was ready. So I made a Sephora order. Would you like to see a little Sephora haul? Because I could do one. I've made like 2 Sephora orders this month, and that's a lot for me. Alright, so next is from Viseart, and this is their new Paris Edit palette. And this is really pretty to me. Again, if you like cool tones and soft neutrals, I think that this has an appeal to it. It reminds me of the ColourPop palette we just talked about. Very similar type tones. Again, a pass for me, not something I would see myself using often, but I don't hate it. And then there's another Valentine's palette from ColourPop. They had a whole Valentine's Day collection that was available on their actual website, and this palette is okay. It's basically a neutral palette with some pops of red. Kind of gives me Anastasia sultry vibes with maybe a little bit more of a warmth to it. But again, not something I need, not something I'm drawn to. And then is the new palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is their new mini cherry palette, and this is supposed to be one of the Norvina mini palettes. And honestly, I looked at this and I hated it right off the bat. I don't know, it just does not call to me at all. The colors together, it's just one of those palettes that kind of puzzles me, but not even in a good way. And it's kind of funny because I saw someone comparing this to the Melt Muerte palette, and immediately I was like, oh yeah, I do see that. But I love the Muerte palette so much, and this just is like ugly to me. Isn't it so strange how just like the packaging and the vibes and just a few colors and a little like tweaks between 2 palettes, they can have the same kind of color story, but one can be so much more appealing and one not at all. Because I really did question myself after I saw the comparison. I was like, oh, how did I not see that at all? So this is a pass for me. I don't need it. Alrighty, let's see. Okay, so there's also a new palette from Physicians Formula, and this is their collaboration with Exterior Glam. I actually think that this box looks super pretty. Like the highlighter, the blush, they have like these really beautiful rose imprints. But it's also pretty bulky, and the color scheme of the eyeshadows overall don't speak to me. I'm definitely not like a warm, neutral, matte shade with like a pop of cool tone kind of girl. It's just not my vibes, but there's like a little, it looks like a little tiny fragrance. There is a Rosé Kiss All Day Velvet lip color. So I don't hate this. I think it could be a really pretty peachy soft look. It's cute for the drugstore, but not something that I see myself needing or ever reaching for. And then Last, but certainly not least, we have a colorful palette released from Urban Decay. I'm a little shook. This is the Wired palette. I'm shook in the fact that I was not expecting this at all, but also I kind of think it's super ugly. And I just mean aesthetically, like if you like this or you like the packaging, like it's fine. Like everyone's attracted to different things, but I really just, it's not pretty to me, and I like things to be pretty if I spend my money on them. I don't see it. I'm not drawn to it at all. I'm kind of like, yay, Urban Decay, finally not a naked palette, but I don't know. I don't really like it. I see Chaos, which I'm pretty sure was one of the original shades from the electric palette, and then was Slow Burn in the electric palette too, I think? Maybe Savage? Gravity? I feel like some of these shades are re-releases, but yeah. Not gonna buy it. I don't need it. Don't need it. There's so many other palettes and brands I would rather buy things from that appeal to me more. Don't want to buy anything unless it makes me super happy and giddy. So that is all of the releases that we had to talk about today. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'd love to know what you have been picking up or not purchasing. I feel like this week was actually a lot better because 2 weeks ago I felt like I wanted to buy everything we talked about. But let me see. The only thing I purchased was the stuff from Clionadh, this highlighter palette. Oh, actually I bought the Salt in New York, and I'm interested in the Nomad and the Terra Moons. So maybe that's not as good as I thought it was, but it could be worse. Could be worse, right? So that's everything. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.